All right, today's lesson is pretty simple as long as you remember one key rule, and that is whatever you do to the top of a fraction, you must also do to the bottom of the fraction. That's not when we're talking about adding, subtracting. So when we have like 1/2 plus 3/4, that's not the, or 1/2 plus 3/2, that's not the same thing. We're talking about in one fraction, whatever you do to one part of the fraction, you must do to the other. So our only job for today is to rename fractions to have a different denominator. But before we get to that, let's actually look at how renaming does not change the fraction itself. So if you consider the fraction half, that means half of something, 50% of something, whatever it is broken in half. 1/2 as a fraction is equal to 2/4 is equal to 3/6, 4/8, 5/10, 6/12, 7/14, and so on. Why? Because 1 is half of 2, 2 is half of 4, 3 is half of 6, 4 is half of 8, 5 is half of 10. Each of those numbers is half of whatever is on the bottom. All right, so each of these is the same, are renamed versions of 1/2. Pretty much this is taking the 1 multiplying times 3, taking the 2 multiplying times 3. If you want to take 1/2 and turn it into 14ths, you just take and multiply this by 7, take and multiply 2 by 7, and guess what? You still get 14. So whatever you're doing, as long as you multiply the top and the bottom by the same amount, you are renaming the fraction appropriately. So that is what the lesson is. Today it's almost like we're doing the opposite of simplifying, which, you know, that's what we learned last week. We'll learn the reason for it tomorrow, but for now let's just look at some problems really quickly before we go on. But for now, just go ahead and raise your hand real quick so that I know to bring you your note guide. On this note guide, copy whatever I write, or pause the video if I haven't gotten there yet, but copy whatever I write so you can have something to help you when you practice today. So let's go ahead and get to this thing and see what we've got. If you're asked to rename the fraction 2/3 with a denominator of 9, you're going to write the 2/3. You're going to put equals because it's going to equal the other fraction. This is not adding, subtracting. This is me renaming it and giving it a name that is equivalent. For example, again, 1/2 is the same as 2/4, 3/6. All those things are equal. They're not being added. You're just giving it a facelift. So if you want a denominator of 9, then you simply put a 9 on the bottom because denominator means bottom. Now you have to think a little bit. Luckily, we know our numbers. What do you multiply 3 by to make it 9? Count by 3 if you have to. 3, 6, 9. That is times 3. So we're going to multiply this times 3 and get 6/9. That is your answer. Whatever you have to do to the bottom to make it match, then you must do to the top, and that's what renaming is. Okay? 3/5. And you want a denominator, which means bottom number, of 35. So you want an equivalent fraction of 3/5 with a denominator of 35. And again, first thing you ask yourself is, what do I multiply 5 by to make it 35? 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35. That's 7. So I have to multiply this by 7, and I end up with 21/35. And that's all. As long as you know your multiplication facts, as long as you don't rush through like some of you keep doing and missing things just because of rushing, I think you'll be okay. Rename the fraction 5/9 with denominator of 36. So 5/9 with denominator, which means bottom number of 36. So now what we do is, what do we multiply 9 by to make 36? Well, 9, 18, 27, 36, that's 4. So we want to multiply this by 4 and end up with 20. Just for proof, if we took 20/36 and we decided to simplify it, that is both even, so you could turn that into 10/18. Both of those are even, so it turns into 5/9, and look at the number that we started off with. So again, this is not the process we're doing, but I'm showing you that we're going the other way. Now you have to rename it because, again, we'll see tomorrow, we'll have to be able to rename fractions as is. Rename the fraction 2/5 with a denominator of 40. So 2/5 with denominator, bottom number of 40. What do we multiply 5 by to make it 40? 8. So we have to multiply this by 8 and end up with 16/40. That is our answer. All right. So again, ask questions if you need to, but for right now, complete the next few problems and then hand them in, please. Make sure I get those because I need to see those so I can look over your work and help you identify any errors. Keeping in mind, practice makes permanent. If you're making errors to start and I don't catch it early, then you're just going to teach yourself to keep missing it the same way. So Work hard today. There is a test over everything that we've learned over the since beginning of the year, next week, so next Friday. Good luck with all that, and I'll talk to you later.